So 2023 was, in my opinion, the worst year in video games ever. Like, absolutely nothing good came out that year. Now, I will say, with the exception of the Dead Space remake, but that's not an original game, so 2023 still doesn't escape me calling it trash. All of a sudden, with January 2024, we get Palworld, a game that I literally cannot stop playing, cannot put it down. Playing it with all my friends, it was great. And then next month, we get Helldivers 2. Now, with Helldivers, I only ever saw it on Steam, and I thought it was like a cheap phone game, like Halo ODST knockoff, so I just never played it. Now, Helldivers 2, however, looked pretty nice. Before this point in time, I didn't even know that they made a sequel to Helldivers, and just watched some YouTube videos on it, decided, you know what, I'll spend $40. I'll buy this game. And I immediately got hooked. Like, I can't remember which planet I dropped on, but it might have been Malevelon. I mean, I dropped in, it was dark, stormy, we were evacuating scientists, I was killing bots all over, I was struggling to call in my stratagems, and it was really fun. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was just killing the enemies of democracy, freedom, liberty, and I was enjoying it.
And that's right, folks. We shall be shooting the dirty socialist robots.
Yeah, I had a blast with it. And so did everyone else, it seemed. Like, Helldivers 2 was like the biggest viral sensation of 2024. No one could stop talking about it. Everyone was playing it. It was awesome. Like, there was finally a good multiplayer co-op game. I mean, after years of everyone wanting one, Arrowhead delivered. And it even seemed like a really good dev studio. Like, usually with developers, they'll like say something really stupid, or they'll just be like surrounded in controversy, but Arrowhead just seemingly popped up out of nowhere. No controversies were showing themselves at the moment. I mean, I remember people were like asking Arrowhead to take over their favorite IP because like their games were just that bad. And yeah, for like a good 2 weeks, it was awesome. Like, I could not stop playing the game. A couple of my friends got it. We were also playing it. And yeah, it was just really fun. After playing for hours, I genuinely thought that we were going to go back to a time where video games were actually fun to play again. Like, perfect example, 2019. That year, dude, we had MW19, Need for Speed Heat, Forza Horizon 4 was still going strong. Like, it was pretty good. And then, yeah, Fortnite was still the main multiplayer pick. Siege was dying, like, really bad. I think that was when they started reworking old maps and just nerfing more things, balancing things, and it was just awful. Like, I just, like, dropped that game. Now, all of that came to a crashing sudden end when Arrowhead decided that they were going to start nerfing things, like nerfing weapons, stratagems, buffing enemies, and we were like, dude, what are you guys doing? This makes absolutely no sense. This is a PvAI game. And then after everyone started complaining about how bad the nerfs were, they doubled down. Like, March and April of 2024 suddenly became the time when everything was getting nerfed. Like, it was getting to the point where it was just impossible to play at higher difficulties just because of not only the heavy spam, but you literally had no way to deal with these enemies. I mean, the original OG meta loadout for a bot was Railgun, Shield Pack, I think the 500 kilogram, and maybe just the regular Eagle Strike. And that could pretty much wipe out outposts. It could kill all the heavies on the bot side, because back then it was only the Hulks and the tanks, and that was it for heavy enemies. Now, on the bug side, I actually didn't really play it too often. I would mainly just play against the bots. But, like, I'm pretty sure the meta was, like, Incendiary Breaker with the Redeemer, and then a recoilless rifle, and maybe, like, a machine gun sentry for, like, the smaller bugs. But back then, it was really crazy, because you needed specific anti-tank to kill the Chargers and Bile Titans. Like, they used to be invulnerable to most types of damage. And I remember when they added the gunships to the bots, and you couldn't shoot them down unless you had a recoilless rifle, and that was the only stratagem that could take them down reliably. You didn't have the eruptor or anything else to take care of these gunships. You had to specifically bring the recoilless rifle, land a shot on the engines, or else it was just gonna tear you to shreds. Like, it was just so stupid. I remember my last game of that month, I was playing with one of my buddies, and yeah, we got killed by it, and I was like, yeah, I'll just see you later, and we just both rage quit. Dude, it was just so stupid. I also know around that time was the big Malevelon Creek campaign. Like, everyone was rallying together for the major order to completely free the Severin sector of the bots, and then eventually they will push out the entire automaton faction out of the galaxy. And at that point in time, I was really jaded from the game. Like, I didn't care at all about what was going on, since at this point in time they nerfed pretty much every weapon in the Steel Veterans War Bond and every single stratagem that was just like in the game. So I didn't really care what was going on. I guess they took Malevelon Creek. I was there for like maybe like one mission. Like, I just stopped playing the game again. And I think I took a massive break from March till the end of April or middle of April. I can't really remember. But by then, Malevelon Creek was freed, and the bots were just completely pushed out of the game. I thought it was really stupid, like the entire thing, just because of the state of the game. And while all of this was happening, they introduced the PSN account requirement to everyone on Steam, and they banned players from over 100 countries because those players were living in countries that did not have PlayStation Network access. So Sony decided, yeah, we're just gonna make it so they can't play their game that they purchased. We'll refund them though. And there were some dudes in China trying to like get around that ban, and then they got like super banned or something. I don't know. I just thought the entire thing was really stupid. Now keep in mind, the majority of Helldivers were on Steam. Like, even though it was a Sony exclusive, PlayStation exclusive game, most people were playing on Steam. So Sony was looking at the data and being like, alright, well, if we just force these guys to all make accounts, since all of our PlayStation players are like the biggest like piggies when it comes to buying up all our slop, the Steam players will surely do that, right? If we just threaten to ban them from using the $40 product that they paid for. I think it was like maybe a few days from the deadline, and almost no one linked their accounts, their Steam accounts, to PSN. Sony decided that they need to rescind the requirement, and I remember everyone's like celebrating it like it was like this goodwill publicity stunt. And like, dude, they just did it because they were embarrassed. They were humiliated. Like, who was going to actually make a PSN and link it to their Steam? Like, we don't gain anything from that. All it does is it makes it easier for you to get reported and banned from the PlayStation Network, and by extension Helldivers 2. So there's no reason to make one. And to add on to that, people found out that GameGuard really doesn't do anything to protect the game. All it really does is make your performance worse and maybe log when you cheat. But I don't see people getting banned, like, at all. So really, GameGuard should just be removed. I mean, who cares if someone cheats in a PvAI game? Like, it doesn't affect you at all. Like, these guys are upset that people are spamming stratagems or using, like, unreleased content. Like, dude, I think there's more pressing matters with the game, like Arrowhead nerfing everything, or the performance getting worse and worse with every update, or just the game randomly hardlocking and crashing and there's just nothing you can do to fix it. The extreme lack of content. I mean, I could go on, like, with just the in-game issues, but outside of the game, it was looking pretty dire. So there was a bunch of community managers, even devs from Arrowhead, just being absolute scum. Like, we had Baskinator, Twinbeard, and some other third moderator. I just forget his name because he just got instantly booted from the moderation team, and I have no idea why they allowed him to persist for this long. But, like, we had Twinbeard calling you a baby if you didn't like the direction that the game is going with all the nerfs. We had Baskinator, who was just harassing, instigating fights, and then banning anyone who actually responded to him. And we had the third guy, who was just being a typical Reddit snarky nerd. Like, he was so annoying that he had to be booted, like I said earlier. And then we have the other Arrowhead developers, and they were so toxic that they were just completely barred from ever interacting with the community just because of how toxic that they were. Like, we had Alexis, who would just continuously nerf any popular weapon or stratagem, and he would just be so smug about it. Then we had Pilestead, who was like running PR for like the entire time, and eventually his true colors slipped. He was actually very defensive of how the devs were acting. Like, yeah, who are we? We're just the paying customers. Like, they're the all-knowing, almighty game developers who are like masters of making a game that doesn't even function after a few updates. And the whole thing was just getting really bad, so Sony probably stepped in and said, can you guys like stop being yourselves and start being better? And eventually Pilestead, I guess in a sudden turn of events, encouraged everyone to like start review bombing the game. Like, I have no idea how that was supposed to help them, but Sony told him to like just knock it off. They demoted him, so he's just like a lesser manager and replaced him with Shams Georgiani. And yeah, it was just a very strange interaction. Like, the guy was so supportive of his dev team. He was, like, against any and all criticism. And then he would flip-flop and then just suddenly support criticism one week and then go back to his usual self the next week. I don't know, just a very strange man and a very strange dev team with just odd drama all around. But that's the official discourse. Now, the unofficial discourse is a lot worse, in my opinion. So, like, we have the Glazers. Like, everyone knows about them. They're just, like, the hardcore Redditors who firmly believe in any kind of non-Republican authority, I guess, to say it. Like, they're basically, like, hardcore political snobs who think that Orange Man evil, America evil, but they'll suck up to any kind of malevolent authoritarian power. So they would defend the nerfs, they would attack you for saying that the updates were making the game worse. If you had any kind of performance issues, like your frame rate going down or stuttering, it was your PC's fault. Like, not the game's fault, even though it was running perfectly fine on launch. No, it was actually your PC that was the issue, you see. Like, these guys are just unreal. Like, they're a bunch of morons, and everyone still hates them to this day. But aside from just being really annoying, they are actually harmful. Like, everyone knows about the incident regarding the charity thing. Like, dude, how can you look at a guy who is part of your community, supposedly, and offers a friendly charitable event where he's going to donate his own money to any charity that the developers could choose if they partake in this challenge? Like, all the guy asked was, hey, can you guys play at D10 on a Hive world with the Rupture Strain, with these weapons that you guys say have been good and don't need to be changed, even though they were put into the game in a really bad state? Like the Killzone SMG, that thing that sucks and is like pen. Like, it was just completely innocent. And of course, the Glazers had to dox him, which is illegal, harass his job, harass his friends, harass his family, and then they harass the sanctuary that he volunteered at. So, of course, the situation got even worse for him, where like he got fired from his job and then banned from going back to the sanctuary. So he made a video saying that he's just done with his community and with the game itself, so he's just not doing anything, moving on. And of course, Arrowhead decided to act basically way too late and in the worst possible fashion. So instead of preventing this from happening in the first place by automatically banning the guys doxing him, they decided to let it get even worse. And then they basically told everyone, if you guys even talk about this, you are banned. Like, both sides play nice, even though one side broke the law and harassed someone, ruining his life. Meanwhile, the other side is angry that this happened in the first place. Like, so who's in the wrong? Obviously Arrowhead. They developed this culture that allows people to just do this heinous stuff over a stupid video game. Like, Helldivers 2 really isn't worth much, in all honesty. Like, the game has gotten worse with every single update. Like, there's only some times when the game's even playable. But really, ruining someone else's life over this is just way too stupid. And then the developers siding with the doxers, the glazers, just shows you how awful these people really are. And even then, even after all that, people still defend them. Like, you really can't win against these people. It's like you're just talking to a bunch of morons. Well, I mean, you really are, in all honesty. Like, Helldivers 2 had it very easy. I mean, it launched to basically no competition. Like, there hasn't been a good co-op game in years, especially one with such high quality like Helldivers 2. Conquered had came out around summertime in 2024, failed completely, so Sony put everything into Helldivers since they needed to make all their money back. Like, not only was Conquered a complete failure, but Helldivers completely outsold and outperformed every single Sony exclusive that was ever made. Which just goes to show how popular Helldivers 2 was. I mean, now it's just really, it's dying really bad. Like, there's almost no new content. Any content that has arrived, it's just put in a war bond, which everyone hates, by the way. Like, no one likes when a new stratagem is put into a war bond, or a gun is put in Superstore. Like, that is just purely moronic. Like, war bonds should be an addition. They should not be the standard for all new content. Like, when they first added the exosuit, the Patriot, even though it was completely bugged out on release and useless, everyone was excited. We were like, yeah, we gotta go liberate that planet so we can start getting our own exosuits. That was a huge, awesome event. And then they just add the Emancipator, and it was just treated like, oh yeah, you can just buy this for rec slips. And then they finally add the first new mechs in like 2 years, and of course they're locked behind a war bond. And now they're adding new FRVs, and after seeing the horrendous reception to the last exosuit war bond, they decided to gut this current one to start putting them in as campaign reward. Like, you really can't win with a studio. And it was also discovered that they mostly outsource everything to other companies. Like, none of the war bonds are made in-house. All the content, like all the new enemies, weapons, armors, planets, everything is outsourced. Because the people who are actually at the Arrowhead offices, they don't do anything. They're not qualified. They don't know what to do. They have no experience in making games. In a developer commentary, which I really have no idea why they even thought about uploading after saying this, but most of the developers who worked on the game and made it as good as it was on launch, they quit years prior to the game coming out. Like, why would you ever mention that? It's like Arrowhead is just obsessed with the idea of humiliating themselves and showing the world how awful they are. Like, how do you make a work environment so toxic that all of your talent basically leaves and you're stuck with absolutely nothing? It just seems that all Arrowhead devs do now is just watch TV and movies and that's it. They don't work on games at all. And after all this, I'm just done with Helldivers. I'm done with Arrowhead. I will not be purchasing Helldivers 3. Like, I feel like that game is going to be even worse than 2. Like, I've just had enough of it. I mean, in all honesty, video games have just been awful for like the past like decade, with very few exceptions. But Helldivers 2 has really been a spectacle. Like, Arrowhead comes out of nowhere, seemingly devoid of any kind of drama, and then they immediately shoot themselves in the foot, blame absolutely everyone, and their game just like loses all hype, and then it comes back randomly just to die again, like the Xbox thing. So everyone was hyped to get these new Xbox players onto the game, and then of course they dropped the ball with a broken update and the rupture strain with the Hive world, and yeah, you have a bunch of brand new players with no experience at all getting absolutely swarmed, killed, and then basically everyone just started uninstalling the game on the Xbox side. The player population was at its peak with Xbox joining up, and then after like maybe a few days, it just completely collapsed because like the Xbox players just gave up on the game. I feel like common sentiment with Arrowhead and Helldivers is we're just done with them. This whole experience has just been absolutely insane. Like, I've never seen a game start off to thunderous applause and then just immediately kill all of its goodwill. Like, Arrowhead just needs to be studied. Like, on how exactly not to run a live service game. Like, they don't put in new content. They release constant broken updates that don't fix anything and then just make the game worse. It's just incredible, really, what these guys can do. But yeah, that's just where we're at with Helldivers 2. Thanks for watching. See ya.